welcome to another beautiful episode of Culture Cove right here on Hued Network. My name, as always, is Blessing Dagin, and today we have something special for you. But before I disclose what we have, let's first of all meet the people in the studio. I'll be starting with Omokafe. Hello, Kafe.
Hello, hi.
How you doing?
Hi.
Okay, happy to meet you.
Happy to meet you too.
All right, now let's move on to meeting Sharon, as usual. Hello, Sharon.
Hi, I was about to do the singing song. Hi, hello, but
I kept it straight. Keep it straight.
Hi.
Hi, Sharon.
How are you doing, Blessing?
It's a pleasure to have you seated here.
And you too.
All right. All right, guys. So now to our special guest. We have a very creative person in our midst. Someone who has understood the importance of preserving culture, and she does this through textile. I'm talking about Longret Samuel. She is someone I am very sure you would love to meet. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. So let's start from the very beginning of trying to understand what you do. I may not do justice to that, so tell us yourself.
Okay, I'm a textile artist and designer.
Okay.
So basically, I major in textiles. Batik particularly, because there are different forms of textiles. Some people might be embroidery, yada yada, but batik for me. And recently, this year, I went into art, like fully.
Okay.
Because I have a business where I do make some of this fabric for fashion, lifestyle, even for furniture. Some people buy it to make furniture around their house, throw pillows, something like this.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and then I have a clothing ready-to-wear brand with a partner who's a fashion designer. So, but this year I decided to go fully into like using this craft to tell story, to tell the African story. So I started making art pieces using batik. Yes.
Interesting.
So that's basically what I do now.
You're an artist
Yes.
telling the African story.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you seated here because we're sure you will
you.
tell us the African story here. All right, so particularly today we're focusing on cultural preservation through textiles, and that's where we'll be basing our conversation. We've seen a lot of your beautiful work, and I think we should take a look at some of the things you've done before we come back to delve deep into our topic.
No problem.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Interesting. Now, this is a very beautiful process, and I must tell you, you're really an artist. But before we go deep into, preserving and all of that, take us through this process. How do you do this?
Okay, so like I would say all the time, just like a painter, he has his colors, his brushes. So in my own case, my wax that's the wax I use, is my ink. And then the different dyes I use are my pigments. And I do sometimes use brushes or foam, but particularly foam, shaping it into, like a pencil because it absorbs the wax.
Okay.
And then I just keep running it just like an ink. So it's just like a bold pen. You refill the ink and keep writing. When it's out, you keep refilling. So the whole movement's like that. And dyeing it, at the end, you de-wax.
Okay.
So that was the process there. You put it in hot water to take out the wax. Wax has a very low melting point. So just hot water, it goes off. You iron it and your work just
comes out
beautifully.
I mean,
like it's easy, but
honestly, she makes it sound so easy.
Yeah, so it's more like it's a reverse. Basically, tie and dye is reverse.
Okay.
So the same, maybe you're starting with your lightest color or your darkest color. For a painter, you can even start with any color. But in this case, most times you have to start with the brightest color so that it doesn't get stained. And the darkest color, which is either black, navy blue, green, purple, but you need to add, black, just puts everything together. So it's kind of just pops those lighter colors you had originally put and then just gives the final finishing.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, you've given me a very artistic explanation and description.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I want to know why this is not just art that you can probably just attach or reference people from Europe for, or reference people in Jamaica for. Why is this particularly special to us as a people, as Africans?
Yeah, because that has been one of the oldest, crafts, textiles. Because from way back, you have people, doing all that, from even spinning, the whole process was manual. Getting the cotton, spinning it by hand, weaving it and dyeing it using natural dyes like the indigo dye. There's an indigo tree. There's a whole process in getting the pigment from that. But why I feel you can't really reference all that is because it has always been our thing. I feel even for the Western world, it might have been as an influence of
what we do down here.
Yes. It's just unfortunate that we've not really told our story the way we should, and somebody else is trying to say it
for us.
So this is just a way of reminding us of what has always been.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So now it leads us to our conversation, cultural preservation.
Yeah.
We're trying to preserve our culture, at least through textiles like you do. So tell me, what has it been like? Because the truth is, if the reason for having a thing is not known, abuse is often inevitable.
Exactly.
Some people just see designs and they do not know that they have cultural significance. So tell me, what are some of the cultural significance when you think of creating a shape or you think of drawing a line? What are some of those cultures you're intending to uphold through those arts?
Okay. Adire in itself, the indigenous design and patterns, each pattern actually has a name, has a significance or has a meaning. So before now, it was actually used by certain group of people, the royalties. It was meant for just the king or for the royal family, but eventually, it evolved and it became a fashion sensation even back then. And, people started trying to get a piece of it, or I want this. And not just in the West, even in the North, we have our Kampala, like the dye pit in Kofarmata. They're still functioning. That's one of the oldest pits for dyeing fabrics. They have also had their own kind of patterns. They're mostly the tying. Yes. While in somewhere like Osogbo, where I had travel to, learn from the indigenous people. And I found out that, this has always been a way of life for them. And it's nice now that it has become, a global sensation around the world. Everybody wants to have a piece of Adire, but like you said, most people don't really know the significance. This was like a way to pass messages. Like I said, some of this pattern, some of this motif had meaning. So combining certain patterns, you're passing a message. You're either trying to tell somebody, in fact, some families had particular symbols to their family, specific to their family in the olden days. So yes, seeing certain patterns, you know that, okay, this might be the royal family of so and so, or this is a royal person, or, so those things had always been there. So in a way, I'm just trying to, let people know that this is just more than a fashion lifestyle. This is about representing a culture. So it has evolved, and everybody wants a piece of it, like I said. But I think the more people project it in this light, the more people understand, and thereby
get the significance.
Yes, and thereby giving value back to what it had always been.
Interesting. I have a question, right? But before I ask you that question, do you have a favorite design? Is there a particular one that has a specific significance to you that you uphold there?
I won't really say I have a specific one, but one thing I have noticed in my design, and some of my colleagues had pointed out, is I love using a lot of shapes and certain symbols in my designs. And when I looked up some of them, they actually do have certain meanings. But for me, at first, it was just more like, I just really like the way this looks. The circle going round and round, or maybe just playing with my triangles, squares, or whatever. But there are certain symbols, like when you use the circle going round.
The one on your clothes?
Yes, something like that. When it goes round, it can represent, like a sun, or in a more expanded explanation, it might be like light. Based on the sun is light, and I'm the light of the world, so most likely that was why.
I see.
Yes, and we have designs like mod designs where there are certain shapes and symbols, and I notice I use that a lot. Even in some of my art pieces, I do use them a lot. Some of them represent tribes, community, symbols of wealth or growth. And I guess maybe there was a part of me that has always been drawn to that, because the brand has always been all about that, preserving the culture through community. I am someone that would always push for, community, family, culture, because I have seen how much it has played a huge role in my life, in my growth. So definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're talking about cultural preservation, and you have already mentioned the fact that everybody wants a piece of this now. I mean, I do. Do you, Omokafe? Sharon, do you? Good. Like, it's everywhere. It's been taken out of Nigeria. It's everywhere, and it has gained so much acceptance, because it's beautiful and all of that. But then I want to know if you feel that this mass production of fabric, or the fact that everyone wants a piece of it, threatens the cultural preservation, where people now decide to just maybe do it because everybody wants it, and then the real essence of it is being threatened. Do you think so?
Okay, so like what you just said, everybody wants to just do it. So I think that's where the problem might be. I do not have a problem with, sharing this culture or sharing this craft with the whole world. But the way I do it, I make sure you understand why this is the way it is. So if every producer or anybody that promotes textile would find a way to do that without losing the cultural significance to as a producer or as a marketer or as a designer, I feel people would understand that those that are patronizing or those that are the consumers now will understand. Because in a way now, having had this conversation, the way you will view these pieces now will be in a different light.
Yeah.
So imagine we have more enlightenment, or more showcases of why we do this as a culture. Yes. I think people would see it in a different light. But if anybody that doesn't even, I traveled all the way. I left the north for the first time to go to Osogbo to learn this. That was in 2021.
Okay.
Because I knew I really wanted to do this. I'd done it in school, but there was just something different from seeing their own. So I went all the way. This is because I wanted to understand the cultural significance of this craft. So if anybody that wants to engage in this would make that little effort, look up why is this the way it is. Then as you're putting it out there, you attach it with that. I think it won't really be a threat. Yes.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Finally, before we round up, you're a young person, and it's quite interesting to see that you're doing this. It's not just for some old women, out there doing. So what would you say to youths to get them on board into cultural preservation in different ways? Apart from the fact that you are using textile, what would you say to youth of Nigeria, or youths of Africa, to, pique their interest in cultural preservation?
Okay. So what I would advise is you should find what you're interested in, like find a purpose in a way, because it doesn't have to be through textile. There are numerous ways you can preserve. So like what my brand is all about is about giving value back to locally made crafts. So it doesn't matter what it is. Painting, wood carving, bead making. We had this thing going on. So I think the advice I'll give the youth is they should not be ashamed of what we have going on, because there are certain things you hear, even in the north, some of their crafts and art, you hear them saying Kayan Kawiawa, which is Kayan Kawiawa means like village people stuff.
Oh.
So I think it has to start from the mind. We need to decolonize our mind from the fact that we see our items or our locally made products as not so cool, as old-fashioned, or not trendy, or it's not original. But it is. Some of these people would come all the way, get these things, and then go rebrand them or just polish it up a bit and bring it back. So I would advise any youth or anybody that wants to go into this, do not be ashamed. Appreciate your culture, and then that way, whatever you put out goes on with that value.
All right, thank you so much, Longret.
Thank you.
Now we're going on a very short break. When we return, we'll turn to Omokafe to give us details of a very recent event. Please stay with us.
Keep watching.
Please keep watching Culture
Cove on Hued Network.
For 2 seasons, Timeline has taken you on a journey of exploring real-life issues and solutions. Well, we are on to season 3 of Timeline, a space where we talk about real issues shaping our world. Here, we sit down with voices that matter, with people who are driving change and making impact. We are talking about more than just problems. We're talking about the attainment of our collective commitment, the global goals, the SDGs, and of course, our community-specific targets. Our conversations aren't just about highlighting problems. They're about finding solutions that truly works, solutions that touches lives and impact the globe. An appraisal of how close we are in meeting our global and community targets. We create rooms for honest, thought-provoking conversations. a ride that you wouldn't want to miss. Well, this is Timeline, where conversations lead to solutions that change lives. Everybody has a stake in making the world a better place with love and compassion. As we thrive daily, we continue to strive to face the many challenges that faces our Earth, because together we all matter. On one side, we are exploring the captivating stories, the trends, the glamour, while on the other hand, we're looking at the love, the care and compassion from our champions. In our Stars Quiet Cove lies the burning passion for humanity, which is seldom known and unsung to the world. Join me on Famed to look at the flip side of your favorite beyond the regular.
Keep watching
Please keep watching Culture
Culture Cove on Hued Network.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is still Culture Cove, and now it's time for Omokafe to give us details of a recent event that happened within the creative industry. Over to you, Kafi.
Well, today I'm very excited because I'm going to one of my favorite countries that Blessing is definitely going to carry me to, on a tour. So that she promised to me. So my bags are ready, people.
Wow. Okay.
We are going to Rwanda today.
See?
I said it. So recently there was a Giants of Africa Entertainment Festival that happened at that particular place, and he was able to see how African basketball as a whole can be able to merge with the African culture. That's what it was done, and it was done by NBA executive Mesa Injiri. Now it was done in Kigali, Rwanda, like I mentioned earlier, and he brought together 320 young athletes across the African countries, across 20 African countries, from Nigeria, Senegal, Rwanda itself, Mali, Senegal, West, East, Tanzania, just different African countries, 20 of them. And they came together in one place. Now, the important thing of this particular music festival was not just that people came to play basketball or to come and listen to African music, but also there was a place where there was a site for mentorship. So older executives that were in NBA basketball, older executives that were in businesses, that were in governments, that were also in you could just see all of them. They were there. They came and they taught these young people. They came and mentored them. And they came and taught them about the business side of MBAs of sports, business side of music. So they did not just come to just listen and no vibe. No, normally when you go to music festivals, all you're going to do when you want to vibe, vibes and inshallah, and everything that is there. But they went, they learned, they trained. Everything you could see. This is one of the speakers right there. He brought them. The team actually was Borderless Africa. Oh. So based on that thing, they learned based on it and every other thing that came with it. And so it was a beautiful festival. It was colorful. You got young girls, young African girls performing, young musicians performing, and in all, I know that Mesa Injiri was definitely very proud to be able to bring those 320 young athletes from across Africa, across the 20 countries, to be able to come together in one place, sit together, eat, wine, at the same time learn.
Interesting. Quite interesting. Before I give my piece on this, Longret, what do you think about this festival? This event?
It looks very, very colorful. And I think the idea of it is something that I would always, promote. Because bringing people, it's not, like she said, it's not just vibe and inshallah. As youth, we have like a short attention span to some certain things these days. So you can't just come, no, we want you guys to know this, we want you guys to learn this. You still need to find a way to make it fun. And I really like the fact that, yes, in as much as it's a sport, but then it was still in a very cultural way.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Sharon. What do you think?
It's quite an interesting
Quite an interesting thing. I wanted to question you. Why do the girls look so alike? I was trying to. I don't know. You called me. Of course, Rwanda, they usually look alike and all of that. But it's quite entertaining what they've put together. And just like you said, regardless that it is about basketball, we still see culture being infused in it, and that is a thumbs up for them, I would say.
Interesting, yeah, because I think we all share similar sentiments, being that these days we're not just being aware of what's happening within the 21st century. We're actively trying to infuse culture into every single thing that we do. So this is really commendable. When I saw the fact that it's for Africans and all of that, and then I saw this, then definitely there was some form of cultural presentation and also cultural showcase, and this is what we're up for, cultural preservation.
Yes.
So that's a nice one. Thank you, Omokafe.
You're welcome. Africa for Africa.
Africa for Africa. All right, now we go again on a very short break. When we return, we'll turn to Sharon to give us details of a very important festival. Please stay with us.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture
Culture Cove on Hued Network.
This is the show where stories of women's achievement meets the solutions our world needs today. In a world where challenges abound, women rise above, turning obstacles to opportunities and dreams into lasting impact. They are leaders, they are innovators, they are change makers. From classrooms to boardrooms, from communities to global stages, these women are breaking barriers and shaping our world. Empower is not just a conversation. It's a celebration of courage, resilience, and vision. Join me as I spotlight women who transform society. This is Empower with an H on Youth Network.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture
Culture Cove on Hued Network.
All right, thank you so much for still staying with us right here on Culture Cove. Now it's time for Sharon to take the floor. Sharon.
Thank you very much, Blessing. Since we are doing Africa today, well, I'm bringing us home to Nigeria, and I'll be talking about the Ovia-Osese Festival by the Ogori people of the Kogi State in Nigeria.
Oh, nice.
So this festival is celebrated by the Kogi State, just like I said, usually celebrated 2 weeks after the Easter Sunday. Now, the celebration is to initiate young girls from the age of 15 and above into motherhood and adulthood. Now, you might say, just young girls. What about men? Now, the men celebration, or the boys rather, they have their celebration called Ikong Orire. That one, it's being celebrated by the Mongogo people of still Kogi State, but different communities. Now, what do they do? Like I said, young girls from the age of 15 above are being initiated motherhood and adulthood. And how do they get to participate? Is it every child they carry? No. It is ladies, young girls, maidens that are virgins and have been able to keep their, purity right to the age of 15 and above. So they pick them and they come together and then they celebrate. But before all of this, before now, there were lots of, initiation rites that they do pass through, but because of modernity, they've been able to eradicate some of it and stick to the one that brings value and of course align with the laws of the land. Now, for these young girls, before it became a global celebration, it was only celebrated by families. Now, in your family, if you have a 15-year-old child that's still a virgin, you just you do the rite, the initiation rite, whatever you need to do with that child, you do it, you celebrate as a family. And the way you celebrate your normal Christmas and all the celebrations with other persons, you do it and all of that. But with time, the community just, found out that it's something that is a prestige for that community, and it's an advantage to them. So they made it a community celebration. Now, usually it's a 1 week celebration festival. The ladies, the handpicked ladies, they would go to a camp, and spend time with an elderly woman that once participated in this festival. And then she's going to take them through the culture journey and through the morals of motherhood. Now, when they are done with that, they bring them all outside, they decorate them with beads and then asoke, and then they come for the celebration. Some persons even it's an avenue also for men to, just pick their brides and all of that. But that is not what the festival is focused on, of course, but that's part of it. And basically all of that. Another thing is that they dance to a morning chant, like to mourn, and that chant is them shedding and mourning their childhood and coming into adulthood. So that's part of the celebration, and it's quite an interesting festival. Like I said, the males also have theirs, but it's not usually in the Ogori community. It's in the Mongogo community, but the focus mainly is on these young girls. And over time, like I said, modernity kind of make them to cut out some of the initiation rites, and then to replace that, and in order to preserve this festival culture, they do not just gather for the festival and initiation. They also gather in order to talk about their socioeconomic development and to see how they can sustain their identity and their culture. So that has, in a way, been able to, to help the community sustain not just their culture, but to also sustain the festival celebration.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Quite interesting.
Very interesting.
Longret, what do you think about this?
This reminded me of, I think it should be Benin or so, the fattening room.
Okay.
I think there's a Calabar, yes, I don't know. It's from that side. They do something similar where they take young girls too and give them all this, training lessons into motherhood. Yes. So I think it's really, really a good thing, and the fact that we still have it going on.
Yeah.
Because most youths, at that point in our life, we don't really know much about life. We don't know our left from right. We need that guidance. So if we're trying to raise, cultural oriented set of people, these are things that I think should keep happening. Yes, like she said, modernity had cut out some of the initiation. Yes. Yeah. So, but still, the main one that carries the value is still ongoing. And that way, if this should keep going on, we have people that are culturally sensitized. They know the value, they know the significance of this thing. So it goes into their craft. Just like I said, if you know the value about what you're doing, once you put it out there, it's like an energy. You pass it on. So if from childhood you already know why this thing is like this, whatever aspect of your culture you decide to go into, you just keep projecting it.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your contribution. Makes a lot of sense. Omokafe.
This culture is actually very similar. Maybe because my village is very close to Kogi State. So we do something.
It is?
Yes.
What's the name of your village?
It's Ekpe. So it's Ekpe, and my mom is from Osogbo, and both of them have something.
Yes.
So when you come of age, it's from Edo State. When you come of age, 0 to 15, that's 15 years old. You are normally, in the olden days, you had to be naked completely. But now, of course, with modernization and everything, you're clothed with wrapper, just similar to what these girls were wearing, and it is just for you to be introduced into womanhood, to announce to people that this person is now matured enough to get married. But we know that these days you can't get married until you're above 18, because that is that's child molestation, that's child marriage, and that is something that we're fighting against. So we're glad that this culture is coming out, and again that it's being moved away from what it was before into social development and of course growth of the economy.
Thank you so much, Omokafe. I think we've all hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
It's important that in as much as we're trying to preserve our culture, we're able to place a balance. You know, some rights, some practices that were not just it, that were hurting people, were able to drop it and then keep only those that actually have value and add value to us as a people. Thank you so much, ladies. It was such an amazing conversation. But now, before we move on or before we round up the show, let's take a look at a very wise saying for today. Longret, do us the favor, the pleasure of reading this.
Now, from old firewood, new fire they catch quick. That's deep.
So what do you think?
I feel, for me, what I think this means is, you know, it's from experience, you might get new initiative. So one way to put it in, or a practical way to put it in, is like one of my very own mentors and someone I really love. We call her Mama Nike. What she has going on. With her years of experience, she has been able to raise, you know, new generation of, you know, textile artists. And if not because she has passed some hurdles or some challenges, we might still have be facing it now. So from her experience, we've been able to get new innovations on how to push textiles. So I'm just using her as an example. There are many other people, many areas. So for me, from old firewood, new fire, they catch quick. From those people's experience, we as new generation will be able to reach higher grounds quickly.
Thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense. Omokafe, in one sentence.
Oh my God. I'm hiding under the shadows of Longret.
One sentence.
So what I deduce from this is the fact that it is via culture that society grows. So as we're looking at culture, we should not discard it off and say, I'm just leaving this and following another man's culture. But then from your own culture, you can be able to see the light as much as you see light in other ones.
Thank you, Sharon.
Well, I'll basically still go with
This is my shadow video.
yeah, because it's definitely from old. Well, it can be two ways. From your experience,
Personally,
you get to learn what route and route you need to follow. Also, from the experience of those that have gone ahead of us, if you are reasonable, you would also learn the route and route, you know, to go. So I definitely go with what she says.
Thank you so much. You guys, do I need to add anything? It makes a lot of sense now. From old firewood, new fire, they catch quick. Reference to the quick. So if you want to get that banging idea, you need to, you know, dig deep. Like I'm so happy that history has been reintroduced to Nigerian secondary school. So it's something we need to know where we're from, so we're able to make better decisions for the future of our culture, for the future of our country. Well, this wasn't hard, was it?
No.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is where we'll have to stop for today. Thank you for coming. It's been quite an amazing time.
Thank you.
All right, so this is where we put a full stop on today's episode of Culture Cove. Remember, always do your bit to preserve your culture. My name, as always, is Blessing Dagin. See you another time.